Good morning, this is Breakfast with Bill Turnbull and Susanna Reid.
Outrage and approves new cuts. Good morning, it's Monday the 13th of February.
Also ahead this morning.
Pet food advert aimed at dogs, not their owners. We're testing it on 3 pooches.
And the memory expert Joshua Furr is joining us this morning with his tips on brain training.
I'll have more in 15 minutes.
Thank you, Carol.
Going to be speaking to our correspondent in LA, Alice Leithard, in the next half hour here on Breakfast.
And at last night's BAFTA Awards, Meryl Streep picked up the Best Actress. That's marvellous, very good. And later we'll show you she lost her shoes.
She lost her shoes.
He gallantly got it.
As people try and unravel what is going on, obviously lots of calls for Suarez to leave Liverpool. We've had lots and lots of apologies now from people very high up in Liverpool, but it was an unsavoury thing to happen to football. Actually had his skin broken for the first time and at least an inch of blood.
Pitching the arm?
Pitching the arm, that's throwing a little...
Amazing weather picture in the sun this morning. It looks like a...
Just from BBC News, our main stories this morning, there have been also coming up on Breakfast this morning.
Because the dogs will watch it and then they'll run and get their purse down the supermarket and buy that particular brand.
And nudge their owner.
Nudge your owner. Morning, Carol.
Good morning. You may have noticed it's a much milder start to the day today compared to what we've had of late. Susanna and Bill, to what we had last week, which was 1s and 2s, if we were lucky.
Absolutely. All right, thanks very much. Thank you.
Carol, thank you. In Afghanistan, moves to hand over operations.
Forgets phone numbers and mislays home and car keys. Joshua 4 used to be like that. Himself in the finals of the US Memory Championships.
Yes, Joshua trained himself using a technique developed in ancient Greece, in which you place each memory inside an imaginary building. I'm going to put the same technique to use. Just to explain how that can work.
You would never forget what happened.
It does work, because I tried the experiment in your book last night and I can still remember the things like the pickled garlic, etc., etc. But how is this going to help me remember where I put my specs? Because I lose them 3 times a day in the house.
No stopping acceptance speech at last night's BAFTAs.
Tomorrow, February the 14th.
Oh, yes, don't forget. Please don't forget.
Valentine's Day. Just in case you'd forgotten what February the 14th was.
Time now to get the news where you are. See you in a moment. Good morning. You're watching Breakfast with Bill Turnbull and Susanna Reid. Welcome to the programme. And the writer who taught himself how to remember almost anything using a technique. The Scottish First Minister Alex Salmond will meet the Secretary of State for...
The French silent film The Artist dominated last night's BAFTA Awards ceremony.
She knows how to give a gracious, short,
short,
perfect speech, doesn't she?
Yeah. Those are the main stories this morning.
Ever Suarez refusing to shake his hand. We heard from Sir Alex Ferguson saying it's a disgrace to the history of Liverpool Football Club, and it seems that... I'll be back a little bit later on.
Good.
Right.
Thanks, Chris.
Coming up to 27.
If your dog takes television today, there could be a very good reason.
Yeah, the UK's first goes out this evening. Its makers say it features high-pitched sounds that only your pet will be able to hear. We tested it then on a panel of pooches to see if it drove them barking mad. Well...
So Mark Abraham is here.
Morning to you both.
Now, I wasn't sure whether those very high-pitched noises that only dogs could hear were apparent even to the dogs who were watching. How can you create those very high-pitched noises? I mean, if you carried on... We heard... OK. The coroner's office in Los Angeles died in the bath. They say a post-mortem...
14 minutes to 7. This is Breakfast. These are the main stories this morning.
Thick enough socks on.
An award. As was widely predicted, Meryl's... That was still clearing up in the bar behind him, obviously, so those noises.
Time.
Good morning, it's Monday the 13th of February.
Also ahead this morning, the Los Angeles County. Plus, the memory expert Joshua Furr is joining us with his tips on brain training.
Let's see if Carol can remember the weather.
Wherever you are, I'll have more in 15.
Thanks very much, Carol. Good morning. First, our main news this morning. Scottish First Minister Alex Salmond will meet the Secretary of State for Scotland, Michael Moore, later to try to resolve some of their arguments over the independence referendum. She was so troubled and had this difficult time. And for both of you, we're not just talking about a sort of distant figure. You both met, Whitney. Well, Heather, can you thank you both very much.
The time now, 8:15, still to come on the programme.
You just did it last night, just like that?
Yeah. Pickled garlic, pairs of socks, it's all in the list. And you put them in different rooms in the house or something you remember, and it's there, Carol, isn't it?
It is, yes. It reminds me of that game you used to play as a child when I went out to dinner, had roast beef, and then you went round everybody.
Yeah.
OK, moving on. Getting milder, which is good news.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then getting colder.
Well, at least the snow will go. All right, thanks very much.
Very much. Back to our main news this morning. Tough new austerity measures. While they were being approved inside the Greek Parliament last...
Another slightly more hazardous target. Morning, Graham.
The news where you are. We'll see you in a moment.
He's big in France, but here.